doing today. This is Chris Washington, and I'm going to go ahead and get started with the presentation today. Recharge and reach out. All right. As an athlete, you train hard, you practice hard, and you're ready. Game day is approaching, and then nothing. Coronavirus, everything is at a halt. We were battle ready, but forced to retreat. This is like a season-ending injury. Excuse me there. It is the same from the perspective that when it happens, you're angry, discouraged, lost. You ask yourself, why? But this is much worse because no matter how hard you train, regardless of how committed you are to your physical therapy, you have no idea when you will be able to play again. Just like you were not in control of preventing the injury, you are not in control now. The retreat that was not voluntary, but you do during the timeout is entirely up to you. Okay. This situation will end. Some now from the normal will happen, and athletics will return. You do not want to wait to be caught flat-footed, foggy brain, or at game time. Any of those conditions. I recommend you take this opportunity to recharge. Here are a few suggestions to accomplish that. Stay game ready. You know what researchers say, exercise can reduce stress and may help depression and anxiety. Continue your conditioning and training. Sure, you will have to adapt your routines, but cardio, weights, and eating healthy do not require a gym or a coach's input. Get your teammates on the video conference to exchange ideas at home, workouts, and favorite training videos. In fact, conduct virtual team meetings, including reviewing playbooks or game film. Again, studies show that learning new things is good for the brain. New skills stimulate new connections in the brain. Sign up for the online classes you've been intending to take. Tackle and do it yourself projects. Listen to the podcast series that caught your attention months ago. Read a book. Learn a new language. Pick up a musical instrument, or get a jump on that math or science class you're dreading taking next semester. It is commonplace that life happens and we lose contact with people we care about. Now is a good time to reconnect. That's right. Research indicates that good relationships with family and friends are good for our health. Go through the photos and call those friends. Don't text. Call those friends. That friend or neighbor from the old neighborhood. host a family reunion, video conference, play games, share stories, and exchange photographs. It is possible nothing you have tried thus far has alleviated the stress and frustration you are experiencing. Recharging sounds good in theory, but let's be honest, many ideas may not help either. But two things we learned when we were small still hold true. There is no I in team, and no one has all the answers. Do not ignore your feelings. If you're struggling, do not remain silent. Do not try to do it alone. Reach out. Dr. Vasari organized these discussions to assure everyone that we're going through this together. We are not alone. And most importantly, it is absolutely okay to reach out for assistance. Thank you for your time. I would like to now open up the floor for discussion and questions. Hello? It's muted. Everyone's muted. Oh, okay. If anyone's talking, I can't hear you. So I'm muted. Okay. Still muted. Everything is muted. I can't hear anyone. Okay. Say it again. It could be. Okay. All right. I know there have been times I've had injuries. I've had 23 surgeries throughout my career as a professional football player. And I know exactly how it feels to not be able to participate, to not be able to get out there and show everyone what you can do, to get out there and give your part, participate in helping your team to be successful. It's a very frustrating thing, but again, you have to be patient and allow your body to heal. This, again, on the other hand, what's going on right now, as I said, and as we all know, we have no control. A lot of us are getting anxious, frustrated, and just not handling everything well right now. But if we slowly put together a workout plan for you and some of your friends and just build on that each day, I think that'll help you relieve some of that stress, some of that anxiety that you're feeling. So. Okay.
Can you tell us about your football career?
All right. Again, I played in the NFL. I played in the NFL for 7 years. I was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1984. Played with the Buccaneers for 5 years. And then a strange thing happened after that 5th year. We got free agency. and free agency is where you're allowed to sign with another organization and start basically working for them. Well, I was lucky enough to be scouted and called by the 49ers and lucky enough to be a part of the Super Bowl 2014. And it was a great experience, and I understood why they were so successful. It was because they planned everything, because they worked together as a team. Again, there's no I in team. It was a totally different environment. Everyone was all about making the team successful. With other teams, you get caught up in arguing about different things that have no bearing on what's going to happen on the field. And it was just again, totally different. And it seemed very simple, and it made common sense. Why wouldn't you do these things to be successful? Why are you trying to argue and make the situation worse? Because we don't realize that's what we're doing, because we're pressed. When you're overcome by stress, you're pressed to make everything right yesterday, not today, not tomorrow. They want it right yesterday. But there are a lot of other things that go in it as well. Let me take another question. Can you tell us about football? Again, as I said, I've had a total of 23 surgeries, and approximately 12 were while I was still playing. There was knee surgery. I had a tendon taken care of. Broke my Achilles. I pulled my Achilles tendon, or snapped my Achilles tendon, and had to come back from that. So talking about frustration, yes, I was going crazy. But what I needed to focus on was rehabilitating my injuries and getting ready, being ready when the time came for me to step back out on the field. Again, there were anxious times back then, but luckily I was able to get back on the field and participate in the last couple of years. Does anyone else have a question there?
I got a question.
Sure.
My name is Nicholas Powell. I'm a sports psychology consultant with the Mind Game.
Nice meeting you, Nicholas.
What was your transition like from college? What did you have to do different from college to playing professional mindset-wise? What was that experience like? And also, what was the biggest obstacle you had to overcome throughout your career?
Okay, throughout the career. Okay, so I give you one answer for both of those. Confidence. Well, it's two. Yeah, just confidence and being prepared. Again, you have to realize you're not in college anymore. They're not going to take your scholarship away. They're going to send your butt home if you don't prepare. If you're not prepared when you get out on that field. So realizing that this is your job. Yes, it's a game that you enjoy. It's a game that is paying your bills, but at the same time, it's something that is it's something that you can take care of. You just have to relax and just take it easy, and just be consistent. And I have to say that I know I keep repeating myself. Consistency, that is what they look for. If you did it yesterday, you better do it tomorrow. All right? They want to make sure that they can count on those players, those 11 players that they have on the field. And that's what you see a lot of the times. Lack of consistency can cost you your career, can cost you your job. And you're wondering what's going on. And it's too late. You didn't take the time to study as well as you should have. So hope that answers some of your questions. And what was the second question again?
what was the biggest challenge you had to overcome throughout your career?
And I just talked about it. It was anxiety, worrying about, just worrying too much about the other guy. Don't worry about that other guy that you're competing with. Make sure you're ready. Make sure when you get on the field, you're aware of everything that's going on. And again, don't worry about the other guys. There's nothing you can do about that. Just go out there and do your best. And that was the most important thing I learned that first year. Just being consistent and not worrying about everyone else. You know, sometimes you can't help it, but I eventually got over it and had a successful career for 7 years, and had to eventually retire due to injuries. So, but I learned a great deal. I learned a great deal from that, and I try to pass that along to the high school students I work with now. Just being consistent, just taking your time, and we'll get it done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Another thing is when you're in the locker room at halftime and you're coming in and nothing seems to be going right, and you wonder, is coach going to come in and get everyone fired up, or is it going to be up to you? It's going to be both. You're part of that team. The coach is doing his thing, but you're out on the field. You're the one who can have a positive effect on the process that's going out on the field right now. So communication is very important in professional football. Okay. Let's see. I like that idea. Don't worry about the other guy. Yeah, don't worry about that other guy. There's nothing you can do about that guy across from you except whoop his butt when you get a chance. Every chance you get, be consistent. Make sure he knows that you're there. Make sure that you study the game film and you're aware of all the plays and that you're communicating with your teammates. Nicholas, did you have anything you want to ask?
Yeah, I have one more question. I don't want to hog everybody else's time, but
No.
with you sharing, because we have a lot of athletes, especially I'm a track and field specialist.
Yes.
And we have I'm from Jamaica, so I hear a lot of our athletes talking about retiring after the next Olympics. And what I'd love for you to talk about, when you experience all these injuries that kind of led you in that direction, kind of share with us what that was like, making that decision to transition, and how has it been since you've transitioned, not being able to play the way you want to play anymore?
Well, initially it was very hard because you don't want to believe you can't do this thing that you've been doing for a good part of your life. And sometimes you have to get over yourself and learn. Once you learn the seriousness of your injuries, that'll be the first key to let you know you have a chance to come back. The thing that we see a lot of is a lot of players don't know when you don't want anyone telling you when you can't produce anymore. But you know when you get out there and you're not as agile as you were, you're not as quick as you were, things are just not happening. It's not as simple as it was before. Seems like something's holding you back. Sometimes you have to admit, but then other times you just have to as I said, you have to get over yourself and go out there and give it your all, give it 100%, because if you're going out there half speed, you're gonna get hurt or hurt someone else. So there are a lot of things that go into that, but your will to play, your physical ability to play, I think are the two most important things when you're considering whether you want to continue or retire and move on and do something else.
I have a question.
Oh, and let me finish. Let me answer Nicholas's question. I'll come right back to you. Come back. Okay.
What did you do when you left football?
After I left football, I had to. It took me a while to find different things to focus, to keep my attention, and then I eventually started coaching and mentoring high school students at different high schools, and then doing mentoring programs at different schools as well, because that helped me get rid of some of the anxiety I was feeling. But it was also good that I was able to help a lot of the students, and not just athletes, but just students in different high schools. Just being there for them to have someone to talk to, try and get them to talk more and open up to their parents, just as we do to players, getting them to, if something's wrong, talk to your parents, talk to your coach, talk to someone. Don't leave them hanging, let them know what's going on. But a lot of times, students will not speak up because they're worried about, well, if I let the coach know I can't do this or that, or I'm worried about this or that, that might put my starting position in jeopardy. Well, no, you can't do that, because you're going to hurt the team. If you're not going 100%, you're going to hurt the team anyway. So you need to communicate. Communication is number one. One of your teammates took his life. Didn't impact? How did it impact you? One of my players. One of your players. Right here. Okay, I'll come back to that. Anyone else have a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Dr. Coffey. I'm a psychologist in private practice, and my area is clinical and sports psychology. And
Okay.
I've been doing this work for over 2 decades now.
Yes.
And basically, I work with the AAU high school and college athletes, basically football and basketball.
Yes.
And what I'm seeing is I'm working harder now, trying to teach the athletes the mental skills. I'm finding their attention span is so short, and their dedication to the sport that they say they want is not as intense and not as they're not as dedicated as they were like 15, 20 years ago. So what suggestions would you give me as a sports psychologist to continue to work with these athletes so that I can move them forward, but at the same time, I'm not working harder than them to help them reach their goals?
Well, the good thing is that you haven't choked any of them yet, so that's a good thing. But because their attention spans a lot of times are a lot shorter than ours, they're going to test us, as you know, and you get tested almost every day, because that one student he's not giving effort. He could have made this play, but he or she didn't make that extra effort.
That's
Trying
right.
to find, just trying to find, focus on getting them to follow through and to understand that they're hurting themselves and the teams when they don't go full speed, and they need to study. So when they get on the field, they'll know exactly what to do. There won't be any hesitation. There are quite a few things that you could do. And that was the second part to your question.
Other ideas. One of the things that I was thinking about, instead of, I do individualized plans, so I will continue to do that.
Yeah.
But also in addition to that, I was thinking about maybe taking 1 or 2 skills and really teach all the athletes that in a more in-depth way, giving them a lot of tools and strategies with maybe 1 or 2 skills. And the 2 skills that I'm thinking about is focus and confidence. So in my mind, I'm thinking that's the foundation of them getting the mindset. That's the foundation of them, of trying to motivate them.
Mhm.
If I can get them, if I can teach them the foundation, then the other things that they say they want, I want to play college ball, I want to play professional ball. I don't have to work as hard to continue to get their mindset where it needs to be to play on that level. What are your thoughts about that?
I think trying to get their mind, the mindset is the key. You're focusing right on the right thing, as you already know. But it gets frustrating because we go in, we put in all of our energy, and it looks like, God, we're still at the same place we were a few weeks ago. We're not getting through. We're not communicating with this group or this student, this one player. And yes, and that's very frustrating. So either we go over to that player and ask, find out if there's anything going on. Getting them to admit they're having issues with some things is hard for high school students to do. Well, not just students in general, regardless of the grade. It's hard for them to admit that they have something going on. So they may be ashamed or afraid to admit what's going on. If we can find out what's going on, if there's something going on once they leave school or in the school or whatever the problem is, it may help alleviate some of that frustration that you're feeling as well as they are. It's sometimes it's a long process. Sometimes it isn't. You know as well as I do, we have to be consistent with the students, and that's what they look for. And a lot of times they get frustrated as soon as the littlest thing goes wrong. They get frustrated, and we have to use a lot of energy sometimes to get them to believe in themselves again and to believe in a team, and again have them communicate. No, not have them to make sure that that they continue to give their all on the field, and go from there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Dr. Coffee. Teammates. Okay. What advice do you have for athletes staying at home to prepare? What to do for athletes staying at home to prepare to return? Okay, all right. Let me see if there are any other questions on here.
Oh,
Yes. What advice? Okay. You can use the chat box. Okay.
it's in order. So this is the one that you need to answer now.
What advice do you have for athletes staying at home to prepare to return to playing? For those athletes staying at home right now, I know they just a few days ago, some schools in some areas and some states have lifted some of the restrictions. So they're going to allow students to get back on the field. But until that does happen, players need to try and find a place where they can get together, where the team can get together and meet and just go there as if and go through drills as you would if you were at school. It takes a couple of players to get the group together and meet and go over your offensive and defensive skills, and just so you'll be ready. So when everything does start up, you won't have so much ground to catch up on. And again, after you finish your practices, get together and watch film and go over it as you normally do. Study the other teams and see what keys you can get from that. But you need to be consistent with it. That's gonna be your best edge. I know it's frustrating to be at home right now and not being able to do the things you want to do, but if you guys can slowly start getting back on track and doing some of the routines that you were doing previously, excuse me, it will definitely help. It'll definitely help the team start to come back together. Then once you get on the field, of course, it's just going to take a little while to get your legs back under you, but you will be fine. But you need to communicate with your teammates, and don't wait until you go back to school. Communicate with your teammates and try and find a way that you can get together, where you can go through drills together and just be around one another for a while, and then hopefully everything will get back to, I'm not going to say normal. There is no normal. Everything's changed now. Just be ready to adapt if you have to. Some of the tactics you were using before may change, may not change. Just be ready and prepare the best that you can, and help your other teammates to prepare. Again, work together, and hopefully you'll be able to get back on the field soon and work all the kinks out and get going again. I know it's very frustrating to sit around after all that work, all that time, all that sacrifice you made, and now you can't play. And it seems like the season's about to fade away, and you haven't played one game. I don't think that's going to happen, but you need to be ready when your name is called and when it is time to go out there and practice. So just start getting together if you haven't been. Someone take charge and set up practice sessions where you guys get together and start working together. That's going to help you once you get on the field. Okay. Any other questions from anyone? Okay. Well, I know this whole time has been very frustrating for students, parents, coaches, everyone involved. It's been a frustrating period. We just have to be ready, prepare ourselves and be ready when we're allowed to get back on the field and when we're allowed to get back out and start training again.
Ask if any of the other professionals on the phone have any ideas or thoughts to share, because you have 20 minutes.
Yeah. Do any of the coaches or professors that happen to be on this line have any suggestions that may help with the situation? Okay. And I'll find.
Ask the person who sent, just say there's some private messages in your work with organizing to reach out to them.
What advice? No, what advice?
Yeah, it's a private message, so they don't know.
Okay, I'll talk about it. Okay. Okay. Those of you that sent private messages, I will respond to that after, of course, after we're done here, and we can go from there. I haven't forgotten about you. I was just looking to see if there was someone else that I could speak to here online. But again, and I keep repeating myself, it's very frustrating for the players. It's frustrating for the coaches. Okay.
That's a new question.
So, okay, here's the question right here. What is the hardest part of being a former professional athlete? How do you recharge? The hardest part about being a former professional athlete. Well, you miss not being out there and playing instead of sitting on the sidelines or sitting at home watching the guys play. You'd rather be out there, but hopefully you were a player as a retired professional player. I was one who left everything on the field, so I have no regrets. Of course, I still want to play, but you get to a point you've given your all, and to get out there and be injured and you become I'm trying to say you're not helping the team. You're bringing down. You realize maybe it's time for me to retire, but only you know when that time may be. So
How do you recharge? Good coach.
how do you recharge? Well, how do you recharge after retiring? You're probably going to take a little time for yourself, and then once you are ready, if you want to still be around the game of football, you have several choices. Some may coach on the professional team, some may coach colleges in different areas, or some may focus on the high school level. It just depends. You know yourself. You know how much energy you want to put into that into a program. So you decide what and how much you like to do, and then go from there. Maybe go and just volunteer and help with students, and maybe get some of that out of your system that might allow you to continue to reach different goals. I don't know. There's several ways to handle that. You just have to decide what you want to do, how you want to do it, how much time you want to put toward that. So, but you're again once again you're in control. You're in control of that and how much you like to participate and how much you like to give to different programs. So, what pregame techniques did you use to get the right frame of mind? Okay, what did I do? Well, it actually started the night before when we go in and watch the film, going to the film room, focusing on my responsibilities, focusing on what the players around me, what their responsibilities are. So in case something happens in the game, I can correct them or they can correct me. But what else? I mentioned counseling because over time I decided, because I'd seen spoken to a lot of different people because I was having different issues, and I decided that I wanted to help students and be a part of helping them get on track. So my degree is in going blank here. I got my degree in counseling, and I'm thinking too much here. I'm sorry. Anyway, I was a counselor in the high schools for several years before I started coaching, and it was satisfying. And then once I reached the peak with that, I wanted to do more. I wanted to coach, and at the same time be able to and be able to help the students on a daily basis. So I found coaching allowed me to do that, to have hands-on and to demonstrate what to to just demonstrate and let them know and see what I'm talking about. Just sorry about that fumble there. Allowing for at least unsure as to what life lies after sports. How did you make a complete career change? And again, it didn't all happen right away, but as I started coaching, because some guys don't, just because you're a great football player doesn't mean you're going to be a great coach. That doesn't always work that way. I had to find out if I was a coach, if I was able to appeal to the students, communicate with them, and help them be successful in whatever endeavor we decided to take on. I found out that I did a good job of communicating with the students and enjoyed the success that we had for approximately 7 to 10 years of high school football. But there again, you have to be honest with yourself. Again, everyone is not intended to be a coach. And those that are, applaud them, and we want to make sure that students know that you're there to listen to them if they have issues, get them to speak with parents or other counselors if their issues bothering them. I don't know. Okay. What time is it? 12 minutes here. Okay.
Did you take that one?
A lot of former athletes are unsure as to what life. Let's go.
Yes, down there.
Okay.
You're in the right.
A lot of former players are unsure as to what life is after sports. How did you make a complete career change? And why do you think so many run into issues with with finances? Well, let me answer that last one first. We run into problems financially. One thing, because you are frustrated, you're trying to replace that thing that's missing, and because you just won't listen to being blunt with you. You just don't listen when people are trying to give you advice, because over the years during your football career, someone gave you some advice or someone tried to take advantage of you. So a lot of times you stop listening and you didn't take the advice that was being given to you because you didn't trust anymore. And once someone steps over that line, it's hard to forget and it's hard to come back from. But it has and definitely can be done. Okay, I'm sure each level is a different sort, his own culture. What steps would you offer to stay grounded? To stay grounded, just take one day at a time, and having the players work together and making sure that those players are aware of what that person next to them, what their responsibility is as well, so they can start working together, and that'll help them on the field. That'll carry over to the field. So
Address the one about teammate committing suicide.
Oh, what is that?
Up there.
Okay,
Up right
I'm
here.
gonna address this, okay? One of your teammates took his life. Can you tell me which player you're referring to? Either I'm brain dead here, or I just can't recall their, as soon as you say his name, I'll remember, but I don't right at this moment. But one of your teammates,
I was in class where you told us the story. That's somebody you were in your doctorate program.
okay. What advice do you have? What advice do you have for athletes staying at home and depending on?
It's the piece above that.
Okay, well, one of your teammates took his life.
And they told you told them about it when you were in school with them working on your doctorate, and they're asking you what impact did that have on you.
I'm going blank right now.
Okay, don't worry about that.
No. Which one of my teammates? I can't recall right at the moment.
Just say you don't recall any technical.
Oh, okay. NFL teams have player programs for the players. Did you ever use their services? Was it helpful? NFL teams have player programs. No, I never took part of that. The NFL has a lot of programs that they offer during the off season for former players to use and take out and share with colleges, high schools. But no, I wasn't involved in that. Off the top of my head, I wasn't involved in that. And one other thing, just you're there. I'm going to address this. I need to say, but I'm going to say this. I've experienced a lot of things, and you've heard about the Parkinson's. You've heard about other things. I deal with that. I deal with Parkinson's on a regular basis, and the only reason I brought that up is because we were talking about just other issues that are going on and talking and divulging other things that are going on and sharing. Sometimes it bothers me, and sometimes it doesn't. But it's just part of the game. It's part of what happened. Do I regret? Will I take it back? No, I wouldn't change a thing. Well, maybe a couple of hits I would change, but I enjoy what I did, and I enjoy the ability to continue to try and teach and pass on what I learned to other students. But there's going to come a time when I have a limit and I may not be able to do that. So until that time comes, until I'm well aware that, okay, it's time for you to move on, I'm going to continue to coach and do that. So I guess a lot of times those are things you don't really share, but I just thought it was important to say that. I'm doing fine. I'm looking forward to this upcoming season. I'm looking forward to being around students, looking forward to working with other coaches to make our team successful. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. I mean, we still have a few minutes left, about 5 minutes left. But I just wanted to come out and share that. And maybe me saying that will help someone else who's dealing with the same thing. It's okay to talk to other people about things sometimes. It's okay. All right.
Any particular lesson learned in your life?
You share it with the younger. Any particular lesson you learned in life that okay. Any particular lesson you learned in life you share with younger people to adapt to today's new world. Yes, and some things don't change. Hard work, working together, communication, and just giving your all when you're out on the field. Concentrating while you're out there on the field. Make sure that you and your teammates are on the same page. It doesn't mean you have to be together 24/7. It just means that when you're on the field during that time that you're practicing, you communicate, you put all your attention to that. Then when you go home, you do your homework, you do your other stuff, and then you make time for your studying the game as well. Everyone's different a lot of when it comes to coaching techniques and how you retain, but just take it one day at a time. One day at a time. If you have issues with something, talk to someone. First thing I started talking about when we got online, talk to someone if you have issues that seem to be bothering you. Don't be ashamed. You have to ask for help if you need it. And once you get past that little bit of an issue, then who knows where you go from there. But you have to be the one that's willing to do that. And I'm sure it needs to be someone that you're comfortable talking with, whoever it may be. If you're having issues that are affecting you in school, on the field, don't be afraid to ask for help. I thank you all for coming out and for tuning in. Please enjoy your weekend and take care. Bye-bye.